Looks like we're live. Yay. Hope to see some of my people here soon. Excuse me. It's what happens when you eat peanuts in the half hour before you go live. Hello, it's Saturday. It's Saturday. And I do appreciate you taking the time to spend part of your Saturday with me. Oh, goodness. Let's get started. This is a subject that I think is really relevant for today, every day. And when I'm saying today, I mean this point in time in our lives. We've been forced, so many of us have been forced to be at home constantly we're doing work and family and everything at home now. And so, distractions is a big deal. Focus is a big deal. So we're going to talk about the truth about the right focus that every Christian needs. Be sure to add in the comments where you are. I'd love to know you're here. Love to know you're watching. Hello, Shelby and Teresa and Mike. It is so good to have you. I'm going to be looking at my phone because it doesn't show up in my streaming thing. All a learning process, y'all. All learning. And but let me know where you're from, where you're watching, that kind of thing, so that I just know you're here and I can keep up with you, and as you keep up with me, as if anybody could keep up with me. Right. I feel like a bouncing ball. And no, I didn't have tons of caffeine. So Faye Bryant here with another Saturday Sit Down with Faye. I am woman, wife, mom, stepmom, mother-in-law, grandmother, and friend. A little nuts at times, always real. Hopefully what you see is what you get, and hopefully you see Jesus. Today we're going to talk about living a focused life to help you live in peace and happiness. Now, before I tell you what I mean, let me tell you, this is an area that we all get hacked in. None of us are immune, and none of us have the defense down pat. We just don't. So know that I'm talking to the woman on camera here too. When we talk about having the right focus, we need to realize that it's really a choice. I talk about choice a lot, don't I? We choose where our mind goes. Does that make sense? We don't always do a good job of it. It is definitely up to us to not abdicate this choice, though. This is a responsibility that God gives us. He says in Scripture that we're to capture our thoughts, those thoughts that get invaded by the enemy and by poor choices and by temptations. We're supposed to take those thoughts captive, and not only take them captive, but bring them to obedience to Christ. So that means that we can determine where this thing goes. We can decide whether or not to allow it to go down the path that it's headed, to be drawn to this thing or that thing. We get to choose. We get to choose, and we need to choose. Okay, listen, I was the kid that had the doesn't use time wisely on just about every report card. All right, on every report card. My teachers thought I might have been distracted a lot in class. Okay. We are facing a bombardment, though, of distractions and choices that come our way. And we have to manage our thoughts. We have to, obviously the things are going to go in. We're going to hear, we're going to see, we're going to be talked to and invited, all these things. But we have to decide which ones we're going to pay attention to. And see, that's the new economy. This is the new economy, is attention. Every website, including mine, every course, every Facebook page, every store, every retail business, Every service business, every television station, every commercial, and everything that is a business or a marketing tool wants you to pay attention. If we are going to be as wise, we're going into the grocery store and we're making wise choices about the things we buy there, we need to be just as wise of what we're going to let our minds dwell on. This comes in and it's not, oh, no, I don't think so, and pop it away. This comes in. Let me tell you something that happened last night. I was in a place, I had the settings on my iPhone set to, for AirDrop, and I had it where just anybody could AirDrop. That was not a brilliant move. Let me just tell you, that was not a brilliant move. And my daughter-in-law helped me correct that. But as I was sitting there, a message was, or a picture was AirDropped to me that wasn't good. It wasn't a good one. And fortunately, I had the ability to decline it, and I did. But it would have been so easy to just let that come in. And, you know, it's the same way with every ad that we see, whether it's on television, something we hear on the radio, something that we see on social media. We have to manage where our mind goes, where our thoughts go. Here's a trick, though. Not a trick. This is something that we deal with. Our minds are under siege. Now, a siege is a constant, upfront, in-your-face onslaught or attack. In the days of Jerusalem, Israel and Jerusalem of old, the enemy would build ramps so that they could get right. And that took time, don't you think? For them, I mean, you know, it didn't just happen overnight. They would fight, and they would have builders building those ramps up to the tops of the walls so that they could then get inside the city, fight hand to hand. When we look at the things that want to steal our attention as those ramp builders, as that army coming to besiege us, we can start to realize that this is a battle. It's very much a battle. And let me tell you, God was not ignorant of it even when he said, let there be light. He knew we would be facing this. Listen, the ads per day that we, who were alive back then, I get that not all of us were, the ads that we saw back in the 70s were between 500 and 1,600 a day. That includes billboards, radio, television, you know, the whole magazines, etc. In 2007, that was up to 5,000 per day. What do you think it is today? Any guesses? How many ads do we on average see per day? Any guesses? Go ahead, take a guess. Take a guess. I'll just tell you. Scary thought. We see invitations to give our attention, to give our money, to give our time, effort, energy over between 6,000 and 10,000 every single day. Between 6,000 and 10,000 opportunities to pay our attention to what? To things that are not eternal, to things that in the end don't really matter. Now, some of these things are good. Some of them are telling us where we can get our gasoline for a better price. Some of these are things that tell us where we can buy healthier groceries. There are good things, but there are so many of them. You know, if you've read Elena and Louise, you will see that there were times in both their lives where the entertainment of the day was just sitting and conversing or sitting and reading. There was no hurry, hurry, hurry. And yet we talk about how their lives were so hard. And I often wonder, were their lives harder than ours or better? Some days I feel like being able to shut down would be better. Although I really like my washing machine. I really do. And I like my automobile. And I like my air conditioning. I remember the days when I didn't have that. Okay. So, we realize, if we realize that we are being bombarded by between 6 and 10,000 ads every day, is there any wonder we have a hard time making decisions? I mean, hey, where do you want to go eat tonight? Okay, well, I saw ads today for Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, Texas Roadhouse, Applebee's, and which one is the right one? This is what we do: is we have all those possibilities, and we are stuck with this thought of which one is the right one, which one is the good one, which one is the best one. We also wonder which one will be the most pleasing one. And that's a whole other topic. We have to make hundreds of decisions every day just about food. Okay, the times that you or another family member has walked up to the refrigerator and opened the doors and says, what? We don't have anything to eat, even though the refrigerator is jam-packed. We will open up the pantry and it's full. We just went shopping and it's nice and full. And we look at it and say, I don't have anything to eat. What am I going to fix? Decisions freeze us. And I don't mean they free us. I mean they freeze us. We call it paralysis by analysis. We don't know which thing to pick. So we're under siege. What do we do with that? What do we do? How do we change it? Let me ask. Show of hands, even though I can't see you. It's all good. Who here checks their phone even before they've left bed in the morning? I'll do like Miss Nancy on Romper Room. I see you. Yeah, I see you. Yeah. Who here might be working on their computer only to pick up their phone to check on social media or their email? But we're working, right? But we're checking Facebook, right? But we're working. But my mentor, Carrie Oberbrunner, says that there's no such thing as multitasking. It's switch tasking, because there is no way that our mind can be on two subjects well enough to accomplish either one at the same time. So we are switch tasking and we lose time. I know for me, if I get a phone call or a front door interruption, it takes me time to get back onto the task that I was going. I mean, it's like, poof, everything's shut down. Now I have to deal with that. And it's not a problem. I deal with that, but then I have to come back and I have to get, back in the zone, back in the flow of things so that I know, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm back in my lane and I'm able to go on, but it takes time. It's not a multitask thing. And ladies, men too, I understand, working at home now, it's an even bigger challenge because we come in and we do our work and we're like, I need to get that laundry started. So we go in and we get the laundry started, and that piece of furniture needs dusting really bad. So we take care of that and we take care of that. And then we finally get back to work. And how much time have we missed? How much time have we lost? It's not bad. It's just a realization that we need to get to, that it's not multitasking, right? To me, multitasking would be holding a baby on your hip while you're cooking. All right. That's multitasking. But even at that, your mind is not on both. You think about that. Think about that. Even with that, your mind is not on both. Not fully. So here's a thought. It's okay to tune out. It is. Just like the old saying, you don't have to attend every invitation to a fight. You don't have to attend every invitation to input. We don't, in this time, one of the things I keep seeing people on social media a lot is they are tuning out of political conversations. They just don't want to hear, they don't want to see the news about things that are going on that are unpleasant. And so they're tuning out of those things. But here's the thought. What if we tuned out from everything for a part of each day? I have a friend who is an author and a podcaster, Shelley Tomlinson, who shuts down every Sunday. She shuts down. She's not going to be on social media. You're not going to find her. She's just not there. She's with her family, and she's with the Lord, and she's with her husband. And that is sacred time to her. What if we all did that? What if we shut down at least half of that 6,000 to 10,000 things that we see a day? Huh? Would the world fall apart without us? It seems to still be spinning for Shelley. So maybe. All right, so tuning out is a choice. Here we are back at choice again, right? Tuning out is a choice. We need to literally, and I have a friend, I believe it was Carrie Oberbrunner, who said, what would happen if instead of sitting down at the computer, keeping our phone right by us, we turned it off and set it in another room? To the point that we would have to physically get up from where we're sitting and working and go to another room to get our phone to be able to look at whatever social media, email, whatever that we were going to look at. We might be less inclined to switch over to that, you think? When we're watching TV, we have to choose to mute commercials or do something else during them. We could get up and walk around. That's probably a good thing for my body if I do that. We could get up and make the preparations for the next day. If you've got lunches to make or clothes to lay out, you could do that. But we need to shut them down to just, I mean, honestly, to just lower that number, the 6,000 to 10,000 number. And trust me, on some of the channels that you watch, it's the same thing over and over, but it's still bombarding you. What if we did that? If we muted the TV or the radio every time that a commercial came on? Do you think your mind would get rest, even in those brief moments? We have to choose to listen to our people instead of input from the outside. Ooh. You mean to like set the phone down or put it in the other room and actually talk to the people you live with? Oh, come on. What's up with that? Yeah. How many people we see it, we're hearing about it more and more in this time when we're all quarantined and at home and jobs are transitioning to being home, work from home, where people are suffering because of the less contact with people. Listen, I'm an introvert. I can stay home and work all the time. I don't have to have that outside contact in person. I charge up when I'm alone. But the extroverts of this world get their energy from being around other people. They need to sit across a table and have a coffee and conversation. They need to be able to take a walk with another person. They need to be able to be with other people. And right now, things are preventing that. What if we made phone calls instead of checking Facebook? It's not like seeing one another, but it's better than nothing. What if we met at the grocery store and depending on where you live, we maintained the social distance required by the business, but we were still in each other's presence so we could still talk? Better than scrolling through another Instagram visit. Maybe. Knowing our people, investing in them and investing in ourselves is so much more important than what we're going to see on social media or television, here on the radio. We need to make that choice. And this one probably should have been first, but I want to hit it with the last. We have to choose to focus on God and our response to Him instead of our responses to the external. We need to shut down the Facebook, shut down the TV, shut down all the external things that are coming at us, those sieges that are upon us, and focus on Him. When was the last time you got quiet enough to simply sit and read a scripture and ask God what He meant by it, and then quietly sit there to listen? It's a hard practice. It is. But if we start that, and yes, our mind will go here and there, but we can bring it back around. Just like what I said at the beginning, we can bring it back around. We should actually choose, I think, this is the opinion of Faye, but I think it has merit. We should choose to sit in absolute silence for at least 10 minutes a day. I prefer that silence to be filled with scripture and with Bible study, studying the scriptures. Somebody else might prefer to read poetry or just simply read. But if your mind, actually, no, I don't want you reading other things. I think that it would be best to take a scripture and then just sit in silence with it. No input at that point, just silence. Hi, Leslie. To just sit. And if your mind wanders, so be it. But to cut off all the external input. Nothing else gets the invite in. What would happen if we did that for just 10 minutes a day? To be honest, I think if we did it for 10 minutes a day for a week, we'd want it to be 20 minutes a day the next week. I think it would grow on us. I think that the peace and the joy that we would get from that time of just being still would help us physically and mentally and emotionally in such ways that we would hunger for that. Could that be what God was talking about when He said to be still and know Him? Could be. So here are the takeaways for today. You get to choose where your mind rests and what you allow in. The choice is up to you. You can choose to decline stuff or to let it in. You get to decide whether to let your mind dwell on what has come in or to say, no, it can go back out. And you get to decide what you repeat back. Yeah. Number 2, your mind is under siege every day, and it's time to ramp up the battle. Just like the people who would be inside the walls when an enemy was coming against them in siege, the place that we're at, we're on the inside, and we need to have the battle stations. We need to have our weapons ready to be able to fight that onslaught so that we're not overcome by them. We can defeat this enemy. And number 3, it is okay to tune out. I give you permission today. You can tune out. You can do it for 10 minutes a day. You can do it for a whole day a week. You can do it. You can do it. And I promise the world will not fall apart because you do. Your family will survive if you do. Your friends will make it if you do. Truly. The bottom line here is you can live a focused life without having to spend an extra dime. Every choice, everything I've discussed here today is absolutely free. I didn't say easy. It's free. Now, if you are really sincere about wanting to make this work for you, I'd like to invite you to be one of the first to join my Write Your Focus 5-day challenge group on Facebook. You can join others as we learn to battle the siege to live a focused life without having to spend a dime. We'll get this started on Monday, September 7th, but you can join it today. It's Write Your Focus 5-day challenge. Did I do a banner for that? Let me see. I did not. But here, I want to let you know, you can see my, every day I write a devotion and I post it on Facebook. And then I take the time out and I read and discuss that devotion. And that goes up on YouTube. You can get that every day. You can subscribe to it at youtube.com/Faye Bryant. I also upload the written and the video version on my blog. That's at faybryant.com. And if you would like to have those, like a book worth of those, there's an ebook available on Amazon that's called Coffee Bible Journal, Musings from the Comfy Chair with a View. Those are all available to you. The YouTube and the blog are free. There is a cost for the book to have on your Kindle or other device. But, and here I am giving you more distractions, aren't I? Oh my goodness. Listen, it's a choice of what we let in, right? It's a choice. Be sure, and if you're going to go to the YouTube one, I would invite you to subscribe. That way you'll know when I post a new one. Most mornings it's around 11 o'clock. Other mornings, like Saturdays, when I'm getting ready for this, it's a little later in the afternoon. But they get there. All right. Until next week, I am Faye Bryant. Hey, listen, get out there and live in focus. Until next time. Bye.